Welcome to another RSR. Tonight, a surprise video that I didn't expect to do, but I got the idea and I was like, why not? It is the MLB Postseason predictions for 2024. We have an open day. I chose to do it. We'll talk about it because I only have one team in this tournament. Well, two, I guess. But one I'd rather see win over the other of my teams. Thank you, Jays and Cardinals. You suck. But speaking of, both of them play wild card ties before they possibly play division series. National League wild card, we'll start there. The New York Mets versus the Milwaukee Brewers. I have the New York Mets beating the Milwaukee Brewers in 2 games because guess what? The NL Central is a fraudulent division. The Mets have so much talent on their roster. They'll go back to Miller Park and play the Brewers and play better than they did the past couple of days. They still got to win once in Milwaukee. But I do think after the game they had in Game 1 of the doubleheader earlier today against the Braves, I believe that now that they have belief and momentum, I think they were allowed to punt. They felt like it was okay to punt the second game because they were already in. I think now they see their potential. They see what they could do. I think the Mets are a better team anyway than the Brewers. And I think the Mets will sweep the Brewers because, honestly, the NL Central is fraudulent. I don't care if you're playing at home or on the road, you are fraudulent. Basically, the 3rd seed in the NL at this point is the Central. At least the Guardians got a division series bye. AL Central sucks too, but at least, well, I don't know. This year, the Twins collapsed, but they're still the Royals and Guardians. Maybe they're getting better, but the NL Central is still a fraudulent division. It is still behind. The Cardinals were second with 80 wins? They were trash. There you go. Mets beat the Brewers with a sweep. The Atlanta Braves versus the San Diego Padres in San Diego. But you know what? I think the Braves win the series in 3 games. They win 2 out of 3. The Braves win the series. Chris Sale might be hurt. He may not be able to pitch. But you know what? I feel like the Braves have this vibe of they may just sneak in and get it done. Sort of similar to 2021. Let's remember, when the Atlanta Braves win the World Series, nobody expects it. When they're supposed to win it, they choke. Just look at the past 2 years. Let's look at the 90s, right? Besides 95, let's look at the 90s. Let's look at the last 2 years, post-2021. Right. They're back as the underdogs. And I have to tell you, I think this might be a year where they just shock some people. I really do. The Padres and Braves have similar talented rosters. Yeah, the Braves have gone through injuries, but they've been better recently. They've been hot recently. They've lost some games, but they've been hot recently. They're in the playoffs, and once you get in there, anything can happen. I think the Braves will go to San Diego and win in 3 games to move on. The AL Wild Card series is the Detroit Tigers versus the Houston Astros. I got the Detroit Tigers winning. I think Detroit will win this series. I believe the Detroit Tigers will win this series because they're the hottest team in baseball right now. They're the hottest team in baseball right now. And I believe that makes the Tigers a team to be feared. They've got some good pitching. Tyreek Skubal. They've got a good team around him on the fielding and hitting positions. They've got a strong team. They've got a strong team who have finally come into their own. After a couple of years of saying, oh, this is the year the rebuild goes our way. This is the year where it all comes together. They've been trying to compete. It finally came together, and it came together quick. You strike while the iron's hot. I think the Tigers will, at least in this series. They win 3 games. In 3 games, they go the distance but win. The Baltimore Orioles versus the Kansas City Royals. A rematch of the 2014 ALCS. Yeah, it is. So it's Royals, Angels, yeah. It's the Orioles, Royals. 10 years later, they play again. This year, it's the wild card series. But I think this year, the Baltimore Orioles are going to take it. I think they have the better quality team. I think they have the better team of hitting, pitching, fielding. The Royals do have a good young core. Bobby Witt Jr. They have a good young core. The Orioles are a little bit further in their development than the Royals. The Royals will be around. And who's to say? I think they'll win the AL Central next year the way they're playing. But they still got some things to do. But this is get your experience. I think the Orioles are going to go through with a little bit of seniority. Jackson Holliday hasn't been the player he's been cracked up to be, but you still got Gunnar. You still got Adley Rutschman. You still got some good pitching. The Baltimore Orioles win this in 2 games and move on. The NL Division Series is the Philadelphia Phillies versus the New York Mets. I think the Phillies win in 4 because the Phillies are one of the top 2 teams in the NL. The Phillies are them. They are such a good team. They are a very good baseball team. And they have lots of good hitting. They have the pitching. They're still fighting for World Series. They should at least make the NLCS. If it isn't them in the NLCS, it's a failure. I don't care how good the Mets are. I don't care who they have. I don't care how hot they've been since Grimace popped up. This ain't the Hamburglar. You're not Club America. You got the wrong McDonald's mascot. I got the Phillies. Another Red October for Philadelphia. The Atlanta Braves versus the Los Angeles Dodgers. I got the Atlanta Braves in 5 games. Yes, the Dodgers have Shohei Ohtani. Yes, they have Mookie Betts. Yes, Freddie Freeman. Yes, their rotation's better. Even without Ohtani pitching, their rotation's better. They've got a good team. They got Teoscar Hernandez. I love Teoscar Hernandez. Let's go Blue Jays. I was happy to see him win the home run derby. But let me tell you, the Braves are going to shock people. I feel another 2021 brewing. Another one. And guess who they played the NLCS that year? Yes. The Dodgers. Took them 7. No. Actually, no, 6. But it took them 6. But it'll take 1 less game because you can't play a Game 6 division series. I think the Braves will win. I think they will. I have a hunch. Dodgers may be the best team in the league right now. I still have a hunch the Braves win. I don't think it's bias. I just think it's a hunch. Call it bias if you want. I don't care. ALDS, the Cleveland Guardians versus the Detroit Tigers. Cleveland Guardians win the series in 5. It's going to be a knockdown, drag-out series. I think the Cleveland Guardians do have the slightly better team. They won the damn division, 2nd in the AL. Tigers had to sneak their way in, but they got hot. But I do believe the Guardians are the better team right now. And I believe that it'll take 5 games. The Tigers will win their share of games and get close, but I think at the end of it, it's probably going to be a heartbreaking 5-game loss for the Tigers. They're probably going to blow it Game 5. It's going to be their own undoing. I have a bad feeling about that, but Guardians move on, 5-game series. The New York Yankees versus the Baltimore Orioles. It'll take 5 games. I think the New York Yankees win the series. They're better than Baltimore. I think Baltimore could give them a war. They will give them a war. But I think the Yankees just have a little bit more talent on both sides of the ball, both sides of the game, to win this series. And I think that talent will show through. Soto, Judge, Stanton, Jazz Chisholm, Marcus Stroman, Garrett Cole. I think that talent will show through. And I think it's going to be that the Yankees win 5 games. Orioles will be close, but the Yankees just pull ahead with their star power. Yankees to the championship series. The NLCS, the Atlanta Braves versus the Philadelphia Phillies. I got the Braves in 7. Because, of course, the Braves are going to deal out some revenge in the championship series as the underdog. Unexpectedly, they're going to deal the revenge that the Phillies have punched them in the mouth with for 2 straight years. It's cinema. It is cinema. I legit believe cinema is going to happen. Let's remember, the last time the Braves won the World Series, they had to exercise some of their own demons to get there. The Dodgers, after blowing a 3-1 lead in the bubble in Texas, had to exercise demons. Same stage of the playoffs, go to the World Series, cinema. I think it'll happen again. I think the past 2 years were plot to set up for, hey, we didn't win the division this time. We're the underdogs this time. We saw it happen when you were. We're going to give you a taste of your own medicine. It's time. It's time to do it. It's time to do it. And they will. 7 games. Braves win. Walk off by Ozzie Albies. Ozzie Albies walk off game 7. Well, no, that can't happen because they're on the road. Ozzie Albies puts them in the lead, top of the 9th of game 7. And then Raisel Iglesias shuts the damn door. How about that? There we go. Pretty much walkout energy. Walk-off energy, though. Pretty much. Game 7 win. Braves win. They go to the World Series. ALCS. The New York Yankees versus the Cleveland Guardians. Another 7-game series. The Yankees win. The Guardians will play tough. They'll be a fitting 2nd seed, but at Yankee Stadium, just ain't going to be meant to be. The Yankees move on. The World Series. The New York Yankees, the American League champion, versus the Atlanta Braves, the National League champion. One of the Braves' World Series that they choked was against the Yankees back in the 90s. I think they'll get revenge for that too. The Atlanta Braves win the World Series in 7. The Atlanta Braves are going to win their 2nd World Series in 3 years. 4. 21, 22, 23, 24. 3 years later, but 4 seasons. 2 and 4 ain't bad, and 2 is the underdogs, but I think they'll do it. I legit think they're going to go off. They're going to sneak in, but then just turn into a bat out of hell over the next month. I really do. And no, it's not bias. I know what the Braves do. I know what the Braves are. When they're favorites, they choke. They incessantly choke when they're favorites. When they're supposed to win it all, they choke. Same in the 90s, same the past 2 years. Whenever they're not supposed to win, they do. They do. It's just the way they are. It's just the way they are. That's what Atlanta Braves baseball is. 95 was questionable. They got it done. That Cleveland team was really good, by the way. Let's not forget. That 95-97 Cleveland team was good. Real good. Let's not forget how good they were. It was questionable. And the Braves won. 2021. Nobody expected it. They had demons to exercise. They beat the Brewers division series. They exercised the demons in the championship series against the Dodgers in 6 games. They play the Atlanta. They don't play the Atlanta Braves. The Atlanta Braves play the Houston Astros. And they beat the Houston Asterisks. 6 games as well. Out of nowhere. And they sort of limped their way in. And they got it done. By the way, last time they won the World Series, guess who wasn't in the lineup? Ronald Acuna Jr. Another ACL injury? I don't know about you, but hey, they've won the World Series without him. It's when he's there, they don't. Speaking of. So, you know what? Yeah, I believe it. I believe in the Braves' powers. They're going to strike again. The Braves' underdog powers will strike again. The Atlanta Braves are going to win the Commissioner's Trophy once again. It's going back to the A. Let's go. With that being said, if you like this video, like it, share, subscribe. You know what it is. Tell your friends. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification once subscribe. Send some chats on the live streams. Comment on this video. Put us in playlists. Share with friends and family. All that great stuff. I will see you tomorrow for a live watch along and review of Deportivo Saprissa versus Antigua GFC CONCACAF Central American Cup. Second leg of the quarterfinals. 9 p.m. Central. Review at 11, or be recorded at 11, out by 12. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm Ryan and I'm out. Peace. Let's see how the playoffs go, but I have a good feeling about the Braves. I really do. Peace.